Okay, so I'm going to show you one more place I built here in town, and then I'm going to tell you a story about, you just got to wait for the story. Okay, so this time we're going to try to get a better angle at it, but yeah, up there, you can see it pretty good right now. Yeah. That was a house we built. That's a pretty big ass house. Built that garage too. Okay, so the story, go up to the Vision Church and pull in the driveway. Okay, so the story I'm going to tell you happens in the early 2000s, okay? We were taking down a chimney from the Trinity Lutheran Church, and we're going to show you that place here in a second. And what we did was we put a masonry scaffold up on the roof, and then we had our JCB, which is a big ass lift, which is a big ass lift that we would stick up, and it could go up 60 feet in the air. Well, we had 2x12s laid flat across from the masonry scaffold to the JCB, to the lift. Keep going, to the Trinity Church, not this one. No. Okay, so we had 2x12s laying flatways across there, doubled up, and then we had OSB or chipboard laid on top of that. Now, as I stated on here before, back at one time, I was a fairly large grower of magic mushrooms. I had eaten about a half ounce of mushrooms that morning. Turn right. I had eaten about a half ounce of mushrooms that morning. So I was tripping balls. And I went to work like that, which is not the smartest thing to do, but I'm not always the smartest person. Keep going straight, and at the corner, turn. So that I can show, next corner. Okay, so I'm tripping face. Yep, turn there, and then pull in. Okay, this is the church right here. So you can see that's pretty high up there. Yep, just pull in here. Okay, so we were up on top of this church, and we were taking this chimney down. So we were pulling these big, probably 600-700 pound limestone blocks off and carrying them back to the forklift, and then we would tear the scaffolding down and we'd take these big ass blocks down. We were using a big ass jackhammer to do this. Well, we'd done the first two and we got to the third one, and in my head I started to feel really anxious. I knew that something bad was going to happen, and I didn't want to do it. But my dad, being my dad, I said no, and he said yes, and I said no, and he said yes, so we ended up doing it. And I'll walk around back and I'll slowly go ahead.
Successfully paired.
Okay, so you see that? Keep going. Okay, so you see the valley up there? There's a chimney about 15-20 feet up there. The board snapped underneath us, and I'm tripping balls, right? And keep going. We can get out of here. We can go back out to the farm now. Okay, so I'm tripping balls, and in my head, I'm hearing "It Ain't Easy" by David Bowie, which that song, it ain't easy to get your helmet when you're going down. And I rode the edges of the chimney with the insides of my arms, and you can see that big ass scar there and the chunk just missing there. We hit the next roof down there. If we'd have went the rest of the way down to the ground there, I'd have probably ended up dead. But we hit that next roof, the jackhammer went into my knee, and the limestone block landed on my back. Hella good times. I started screaming, and I'm squirting blood from my arms when I come to, and then I crawled down and I went to the hospital and got checked out. We found out my vertebrae were fractured, and you know, I had a big old chunk out of my knee, and I got pieces of the bone that float around in my knee now, and every once in a while they lodge there.
No, funny.
And when that happens, about the only thing that can get me moving again is junk. And that is the story of one of my little workplace fun times. I'll tell you another one later. FTF 030.